All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, February 13th. We got a 6-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the spread. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, all of my final picks, if you do want to fade me, those plays are going to be in the pinned comment. Again, if you want to fade me or if you want to ride with me, those plays will be in the pinned comment. Last night, we had a pretty good night. So it looks like 3-3, right? Which I guess technically, win-loss wise it is. But we had a half unit on the Raptors -2.5, a half unit on the Raptors -5.5. They get smoked. So that's essentially just one loss though, right? Each half unit plays. And then the Clippers -4 was our other loss there. But we had a +124 hit with Herb Jones over 1.5 3-pointers made, a Bucks money line for +105. And then we had 2 units on Brolos over 1.5 3-pointers made, which cashed early. So that was a 2-unit play. So honestly, profit-wise and units-wise, a really good night. I know it looks like 3-3, but essentially that Raptors play is just 1x, and then that Brook Lopez hit is 2 green check marks, if that makes sense. Guys, if you don't know what a unit is essentially your standard betting size, right? So if I put a half unit on something, it means I'm putting half the normal amount, and if I put 2 units on something, it means I'm kind of doubling up on that pick. So just FYI. And then fun doesn't stop there. The ride of the day comes through as well from picked here. Jaren Jackson Jr. under 32.5 points plus rebounds. I think he had 22 points, 6 rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. So that cashes as well. Pumping some damn crowd noise. We're now on a ride of the day streak, or have the chance to go on a ride of the day streak. If you don't know what the ride of the day is, guys, all you got to use is that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. I'm jumping on board with one person's pick, just like I did with picked, giving you a shout out in the next video, win or loss, and giving you a shout out over on Twitter if you want to follow me there at EvGuyBoston. And if you win, we continue to ride with your pick. So we'll be jumping on board with whatever pick throws in the comments today. Has until 3 p.m. Eastern time. If no second ride gets posted, we'll pick someone else. So make sure to drop those in the comments. But yeah, I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute. Let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. We got the Brooklyn Nets taking on the Boston Celtics here. Right now, Brooklyn 8.5-point dogs at home. Total sitting at 227.5. This line opened at 8.5. It stayed at 8.5, but the total has come down. Opened at 229, I believe, or 228.5. One of the two. Moved down a point here to 227.5. I'll start there. I like the under in this game. I don't think I'll be betting it in terms of a final play, just to be completely honest. But I do think that this is a spot in which we don't see much transition basketball from either team. The Celtics have the pace advantage, 13th in their last 10 games, but Brooklyn in the bottom third of the league when it comes to pace, and the Celtics defense is great in transition, and neither team really is like a killer team when running in transition. So nothing jumps out to me as if we would be looking at any sort of a total that goes over here. So slight lean towards the under. In terms of a spread pick, I guess I gotta lean towards the Celtics, right? 8.5 doesn't seem like it's enough to lay. I will say the Celtics team, they're winning games, but they've dropped 3 straight games against the spread, and we have Porzingis on the injury report today, so keep an eye on that. But they should be able to beat this Nets team who just unloaded at the trade deadline. They should be able to beat them by 9 points or so. Last time they played was earlier this year, and the Celtics beat them by, I think it was 127 to 107, and then actually I can pull it up really quickly, 121 to 107, and then earlier in the year 124 to 114. Celtics should be able to get the job done here. Now, in terms of player props, I do have one that I like. We're going to be looking at Jaylen Brown over 5.5 first quarter points. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we roll with this. These are his last 5 games against the Nets. He has absolutely crushed it. He's hit the over here in 67% of games on the year. And for -115, you're getting some decent odds against the Nets team, allowing the 3rd most points to opposing small forwards here. I like this spot. Again, that really looks good. He had a couple years ago, he had 20 points in the first quarter against this Nets team. And looking at the matchup, I don't really see who stops him. Like Mikal Bridges, I don't think that he has it. We know that Cam Thomas isn't going to defend him. Dorian Finney-Smith is going to have the Tatum assignment, right? So this should be a good matchup for Jaylen Brown to get out to the races early. So give me him over 5.5 for his first quarter points. Other than that, the only other player prop that maybe jumped out at me was going to be Ben Simmons over rebounds plus assists, but I don't know if we can trust Ben Simmons. I don't think we can trust Ben Simmons. So it's probably going to stick as this Jaylen Brown play. And by the way, guys, if you do want access to this tool, it's called Outlier. I have a link in the pinned comment. You get 7 days free for the best sports betting research tool out there in terms of player props and trends and everything like that, guys. Go ahead and check it out. You have everything. You have all these supporting stats that you can look at, minutes, defense against, and just 2023, aka this year, last year, head-to-head, last 20, last 10, last 5. Really, really cool, guys. Go ahead and check it out. Again, that's Outlier. Link in the pinned comment. 7-day free trial. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Orlando Magic taking on the Thunder here. Right now, Magic at home at 3.5-point dogs. It's opened up at 2.5. So people were clearly buying that -2.5 on the Thunder side of things, and books bumped it up to 3.5. I've now seen it back down to 2.5 on some books. So they're kind of, I guess, odds makers are kind of confused with this line here. So make sure you guys get the best price. If you like the Magic, make sure to get that, plus 3.5. If you like the Thunder, try and get that 2.5 somewhere. Get the best odds out there. The total sitting at 223.5 here. This is a tough one because honestly, looking into the data and whatnot, it kind of screams Magic at home. They're the best against the spread team in the league this year. Oklahoma City is third, but this is a really good Magic team, right? At home, they're covering in nearly 70% of games this season, whereas OKC, they are very good against the spread team, covering in 62% this year, but that drops to 56% on the road. That all being said, I still can't fade this Thunder team against Orlando. If they play Orlando basketball, Orlando does have an upper hand here, you know what I mean? Around the rim, they can defend that, and the Thunder love to get there, and vice versa. But if they slow this down, Orlando's going to be able to keep this game close. I'm kind of hoping, for the sake of our bet, OKC -2.5, that they run and gun kind of, because we know OKC is capable of that, but they really have not been doing that, right? Like in terms of their points for, like, it's been fairly minimal. 117, 111, 127. We need them to pull out more what they did against Sacramento, which was that 127 game, even though that was kind of not even the fastest of games either, right? Like just barely hitting the over in that game. So I'm kind of thinking that's the advantage. If you think it's going to be a down low, kind of Bigs style basketball, then I think Orlando does have the upper hand. I think it's going to be a little bit more fast-paced than that. So I'm going to lean towards OKC, as well as, spoiler alert, I'm looking at the over as well. Because, again, I'm kind of anticipating OKC. Very hard to talk about these two teams. Kind of anticipating OKC realizes their upper hand would be to, run and gun against this Orlando team. In terms of player props, I don't mind taking a peek at Chet Holmgren's PRA or points plus rebounds. Last time he played, he did have 15 points, 8 rebounds against them in terms of his points. Rebounds. They also had 3 assists, getting it to 26. Right now, his PRA line is 24.5, and his points plus rebounds line is 22.5. This is an Orlando team that, yes, like I said, they can defend the rim and whatnot, but Chet Holmgren can mix it up and play different types of basketball as a big. So I don't really mind looking at him to kind of diversify his offensive portfolio and be able to score on this team. So if he can get to, 18 points, which his points line right now is 15.5 for plus 100. Don't mind that either, but I like the chances of him getting some boards too. So I probably prefer points plus rebounds. But if he can get to, maybe 15 to 18 points, he's already averaging 15 rebound chances over his last 10 games here, grabbing 60% of those. So if you're telling me he gets 15 points and gets 9 rebounds, there we go. We're cashing the over of points plus rebounds, right? So he's just got to get near his points line and continue to get the rebound chances that he has been getting. All right, like I said, it's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It is Taco Tuesday over on PrizePicks, guys. If you want to sign up for PrizePicks, you can get the taco squares that they'll be dropping today. Obviously, we don't have them yet, but they offer multiple discounts throughout the entire day on Tuesdays. And you can use the link in the pinned comment or sign up using code GUYBOSTON. You'll get your first deposit 100% matched. If you haven't tried out PrizePicks yet, I know you've heard about it, right? Time to hop on the train. It's a super, super fun app and really cool in how they do things. And it's a DFS pick'em app, but essentially just a player prop app as well, right? So go ahead and check it out, guys. That link is going to be in the pinned comment. Let's jump back into the games here. Actually, before we do, why don't I talk to you guys about DGF, the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, guys. This is perfect to mention with PrizePicks, right? What this does is it's a tool that compares all of these sportsbooks, the lines and odds that they're offering, to what PrizePicks has to offer. AKA, if sportsbooks are juicing, a certain line, like this Chet Holmgren one, which we do like, his points plus rebounds, but nonetheless, if they're juicing a certain line, you know that sportsbooks believe it is going to be a favorable outcome, because sportsbooks wouldn't offer those odds if they didn't think that, right? right? So what you can do is throw in these juiced picks into a prize pick slips. For example, Jalen Duren over 11.5 rebounds, -136, -142, -140, -137, -145. If you're taking that as a straight up bet, that is a pretty juiced play. You could throw it into prize picks. They don't care about the odds, and then you can kind of capitalize there. Obviously, you don't want to throw these plus money plays into prize picks, right? Because they don't care about odds, so you have no advantage doing that. You want to throw in the higher negative numbers for odds into your prize pick slips, and they use this math to give you a % chance to hit. It is a very, very, very cool tool. We hit a 5 for 5 on yesterday's stream using this tool. I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the top of this, and we turned $20 into $200. So yeah, it's an absolute no-brainer. That link is going to be in the pinned comment as well. Also, make sure you guys use the code GUYBOSTON, GUYBOSTON. Spelling bee champ. Make sure you use that code. That's how you get 25% off. The link won't give you the discount automatically. You got to make sure you use the code. But now let's get back into the games, I promise. All right, we got Milwaukee taking on Miami. Milwaukee, big hit for us last night. We got them on the money line. They closed as favorites, but we got them for +105. They end up beating Denver 112-95. Shout out to all the haters yesterday in the comments, literally calling me an idiot for that pick before the game even happens, right? Like, all we're doing here is giving picks that I like, and then it ends up cashing, and I'm like, come on now. But I could see that. I could totally see the Denver side yesterday. I think even said that in the video. But nonetheless, guys, Milwaukee is on a back-to-back here. They have not been great on back-to-backs, covering just 40, I think it was at 50%, so kind of a toss-up in their back-to-back situations this season. But Miami is nothing really like, they're not jumping out at me saying, hey, like, we're going to cover. And Milwaukee may be getting Chris Middleton back. It's a big number, but I'll slightly lean towards Milwaukee, but I'm not getting greedy here. We just cashed with Milwaukee yesterday. We know how tough they've been to bet on this season, right? So I don't think I end up making this a final play. I can jump right out and tell you guys that there. In terms of a total, I don't mind taking a peek at the under. This is a Miami team that's going to try and slow Milwaukee down. And Milwaukee themselves have actually kind of, it's weird to say, but kind of slowed down as of late too. They have just one game over 120 in their last 5 games and only 3 games in the last 10 going over 120. So this team is not this top 3 pace team right now. They've dropped into the 9 spot, which is fairly significantly down from where they were. So I'll slightly lean towards the under. I've also seen sportsbooks move this to 223. So if we can get a 223.5, we do have a little bit of value there. Now, from a player prop perspective, I don't mind looking at Bam Adebayo's under points plus assists. He stayed under that line in 10 straight games here, and against Milwaukee, he stayed under in 7 of his last 10. From his PRA line, you never know when this guy can just get a bunch of rebounds, but I also don't hate that. It's an inflated line at 39.5, and you're paying the juice for it too. I think it's like -130 to get his under 39.5. I just think that this is a matchup that isn't ideal for Bam Adebayo. Do we pull the trigger on it? Kind of hesitant right now, just because it is Bam and he is a very, very good player, but this matchup could get me to pull the trigger. If Milwaukee wasn't on a back-to-back and they had fresh defensive legs and everything, I think I would, but something about that back-to-back is a little bit worrisome that maybe Bam Adebayo, his aggressiveness and athleticism, can kind of eat tonight. We'll see. All right, we got Phoenix taking on the Kings in this one. I do like Phoenix at home in this spot. In terms of injuries, nothing major on either side, which is good to note, but I don't really see Sacramento's defense being able to stop Phoenix I guess, at any level above the break 3, mid-range, corners, anything like that. Last time they played, which was about a month ago, Phoenix did get the win 119-117, so Sacramento did end up covering that game, and they would have covered this line, but I do kind of think that this is a Phoenix team that comes off of, they haven't played in like 3 days, right? Coming off of a nice rest, going to be able to come out there fresh and everything like that, and when you're looking at Sacramento, I just don't really see the matchup potential for them to be able to control this game. So unfortunately, because I've liked to bet on the Kings this season, they've burned us, but they've also cashed for us plenty. But this line is at 5. Like the bookmakers know what they're doing with this line. And when I look at the matchups, it's pretty green across the board in terms of where Phoenix can score from. In the paint, mid-range, above the break 3s. The only true advantage, maybe you could say, that Sacramento has is actually defending at the rim, which they're not even that great at anyway. So with the scorers that Phoenix has, and they're healthy, like I said, I just can't really see Sacramento stopping them. If it's going to be like a chase game for whatnot, and a bunch of points scored, then yeah, I guess I'd lean towards the over as well, because if Sacramento, they are talented on offense, no kidding. If I think Phoenix is going to score a bunch of points, I gotta kind of expect Sacramento at least, score some points too, right? So yeah, I'll lean towards the Suns as well as the over. From a player prop perspective, this could have a same game parlay potential in here. I don't have any specific player props that I like as of right now. But this could be a spot in which we look at some sort of a same game parlay because there's going to be a lot of points scored, I believe, in this spot. All right, Portland taking on Minnesota. Minnesota coming off of a win yesterday against the Clippers. That was one of our losses. They won 121-100. So the starters did get some rest here. Not that much, but some rest. Karl-Anthony Towns played 27 minutes. Gobert played 30. Anthony Edwards played 32. Again, not the most rest, but, Karl-Anthony Towns only playing 27, Conley playing, 22, so the back-to-back shouldn't affect them all that much, and they're playing Portland. Yeah, I'm going to lean towards the Timberwolves in this spot. Do I love them on a back-to-back? I guess you could say no. On no rest situations this season, covering in just 40% of games. But Portland, when it comes to having rest advantages over the teams they're playing, they've only covered in 43% of games. So neither one of these teams is in a spot in which, they have that advantage or anything like that. So I'll take the better team, Minnesota. Portland's injury list is a mile long as well. Simons, Reith, Brogdon, Henderson, Sharp, and then you have Robert Williams and Brown as well, who've been out for a while. In terms of total, 215, this is a low number. Minnesota on back-to-backs this year, though, have covered the over, so hit the over in 80% of games on back-to-backs this season. And if I think Minnesota kind of controls this game and the pace and everything like that, I'm going to lean towards the over 215. It is such a low number. Maybe I'm grasping at, something that is just kind of like bait. But yeah, I'm leaning towards the over in this spot. In terms of player props, not my favorite game here whatsoever, to be completely honest. I probably end up sticking away from player props in this game. Lakers 11-point favorites over the Detroit Pistons here. Not that the Lakers really, I guess, deserve to be 11-point favorites, at least in my opinion, over anybody, but it is the Pistons, right? And this Pistons team, they have been a covering machine, but I can't really trust that against a Lakers team in which, you're looking at a Lakers team that whenever they want to be good, it seems like they can be good. The one thing here is you obviously have some injuries to look at, right? LeBron and Anthony Davis questionable on the injury report. That's kind of really the biggest one, I guess. But if they don't play, then I like the Pistons. If they do play, I kind of think that LeBron and AD say, let's squish a bad team. They won 133-107 earlier this year. It was in Detroit. Now they're at home. It's like, yeah, there's something about stat padding and whatnot with those two guys in particular that I do think that they want to beat some of these. They want to beat good teams and they want to crush bad teams, right? The middle ground is where you get inconsistent with the Lakers because it's like, do you care about the games? Like whatever, you don't even know. But when they're big point favorites like this, I do think that they will probably end up trying to bring it and also, beat Detroit. So again, if LeBron and AD don't play, actually I should say, let me make it clear. I don't really love this spot anyways, right? But I'm not leaning towards the Pistons, even though they've been covering machines. But if LeBron and AD don't play, I'd probably just stick away from this altogether. In terms of the total, 240.5. A little bit higher than I would have anticipated, but if the Lakers go out there and just drop 130 like they did last time, obviously this is in play. I don't think that that's necessarily what they come with, even though they're playing super fast as of late. So I'm going to say under, but ever so slightly. And then from a player prop perspective, nothing jumping out in this game to me. But guys, that is going to wrap for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and drop 18 in the comments. 18. Let me know that you made it this far and that you're a real one. And you're not a guppy, all right? Make sure you drop that 18 in the comments. But thank you guys very much for watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.